Healing begins with truth.
The sun poured its weary warmth over the quiet streets of Surulere as Amara stood by the kitchen window, staring at the mango tree
Kene.
he used to climb before he was too old to need trees for comfort. Her hands shook as she wiped the already clean countertop, the silence hanging heavy with things left unsaid. In the living room, Chidi sat hunched over the edge of the couch, scrolling through his phone with mechanical boredom. The tension between them wasn't new. 12 years into their marriage, the space between them had slowly filled with resentment, half-healed wounds, and the silent war over the boy who wasn't his.
Kene
Was 16 now. Amara had raised him alone for 4 years before she met Chidi. She remembered those years vividly, her sons giggle as they chased the rain barefoot, the long nights of fevers, prayers, and porridge. When she married Chidi, she believed love would erase the line between step and son. But love, it seemed, had boundaries. Chidi had never laid a hand on Kene, but he had also never laid claim. He was civil but distant, courteous but cold. "He's not mine," he had once muttered during a fight, and Amara could still hear those words like a radio left on in a locked room. The worst part wasn't the fights, though they had plenty. It was the quiet afterward, the long stretches where words dried up and they lived like housemates passing in hallways. Amara, once full of laughter, began losing her hair in clumps. Her heart palpitations became frequent. Anxiety tethered itself to her sleep. She started forgetting things, burning food, missing appointments. Her doctor told her stress was slowly rearranging her body from the inside. Chidi wasn't spared either. A stubborn ulcer began gnawing at his insides, flaring especially after arguments. He drank antacids like water, snapped at his co-workers, and found it harder to breathe on Sunday mornings, family mornings. Their 2 younger children, Zara and Ibuka, sensed the frost. They stopped asking questions, learned to tiptoe around tension, and whispered when they talked about Kene. Even Kene himself knew. He grew quiet, spending more time outdoors, always watching but never part of the picture frame. One Thursday, after a particularly bitter silence, Amara finally broke.
I can't keep living like this, Chidi. You punish me for loving my son.
Chidi stood slowly, rubbing his temple. "I don't punish you," he said, voice tight. "I just can't pretend."
Pretend what? That he's not part of me? That I'm not already broken every time I watch you freeze him out?
The words spilled, years of swallowed heartache coming undone. Chidi sat back down. He looked older that day, less angry, more tired. He confessed he feared loving Kene would feel like erasing himself, that the resentment wasn't just for the boy, but for the man Amara had loved before him. "I always felt second," he murmured. Amara blinked. For the first time, she saw not just Chidi's anger, but his fragility. Healing didn't arrive with grand gestures. It began as softness. Chidi started asking Kene about school. At first, the boy answered in monosyllables, distrustful. But over weeks, the conversation stretched. A shared laugh over football commentary, a proud, well done when Kene won a debate trophy. Slowly, the line blurred, not erased, but softened. Amara and Chidi entered therapy, once a week, awkward at first, then revelatory. They learned that grief wasn't always about death. Sometimes it was mourning a version of your marriage you thought you'd have. Their health began to improve, too. Less screaming meant fewer palpitations. More understanding meant deeper sleep. Kene came home early more often, the house less haunted than before. Years later, at Kene's university graduation, Chidi stood beside him, hand on the boy's shoulder. There were no speeches, no declarations, just presence. And that, Amara thought, was love. Sometimes imperfect, sometimes painful, but chosen over and over again. What would you take away from this story? Leave your comment in the section down below about how each character displayed maturity in the face of disagreements, and tell me if you enjoy stories like this. Don't forget to subscribe and share.